Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us on the Newsfeed PM edition. I'm Mposa Tole. Now, the winter months bring the cold as well as fires sparked by the dry conditions in some provinces. This morning, one person died, another was injured when over 400 shacks near Kwa Mai Mai in Jeppestown, Johannesburg, were razed to the ground. In the Western Cape, firefighters battled a wildfire near Somerset West, which broke out on Wednesday and was fanned by strong winds. Several homes have already been destroyed, and those who live in informal settlements have lost all they have in the blazes in both Gauteng and the Western Cape. I'm joined by Robert Mulaudzi from the Johannesburg Emergency Services to find out how to prevent shack fires. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. We are seeing the devastation and, of course, the timing. The colder winter nights are not kind. Talk to us about some of the trends you've observed during this period when it comes to shack fires.
Good afternoon and afternoon to the viewers. Yes, during winter season, as the fire service, I will say in South Africa, not only in the city of Johannesburg, but overall in all our 9 provinces, you will see that we have an increase in terms of the number of fire incidents we respond to as a fire service. Why is it so? Is because most of the residents which are affected are mostly our residents in our vulnerable communities, which is our informal settlements throughout South Africa. Most of our residents in our informal settlements all over the country, they are still using what I will call traditional heating devices, namely paraffin stoves, candles, brazier or fabricated container fire or imbaula, and also they're still using candles. So most of these heating devices are, if they are used unsafely, they cause fire incidents. Hence, we still find that during this time of the year, as they try to warm themselves, they are vulnerable to these fire incidents. And of course, over and above that, we must not forget that most of our informal settlements in South Africa in general, we have got a problem of illegal connection. So illegal connection also becomes a problem in terms of the fire incidents we find in our informal settlements all over the country.
In terms of, the heating devices that you make mention of, they are used because they're perhaps the more affordable option. What alternatives are available within the same price range, perhaps, or maybe for a longer-term basis to ensure that the numbers are curbed when it comes to these fire incidents?
Yes, there are alternatives. I think now, as the fire service, I will say again, not only in Johannesburg, but all over the country, we are investing more of our energies and resources in terms of community empowerment or public education. So what we will see that is that we're investing more resources in terms of empowering our residents about introducing other heat energy devices like maybe rechargeable lights instead of them maybe using candles, and also paraffin stoves which are much more safer, which has got safety features on them. Like in the city of Johannesburg, we have introduced a concept we call Josie Safety Kits, where we're introducing a parasafe stove and also a portable fire extinguisher, a smoke detector, which works as early warning systems, which our residents out there can be able to get it in a hardware store between about $80 to $100. And also, we're introducing some of the first aid kit or burn shields which people can use, because we know that the residents in these kind of areas, they mostly use Colgates and polish to treat some burn wounds. So, and also because we've got a problem of water supply in these areas, we normally train them in terms of bucket brigade, where we encourage them to use buckets, so they will form up a line when there's a fire incident in that specific community and try and hand over each other these buckets to try and extinguish the fire. So these are some of the things which we're trying to introduce to our communities through our public education efforts to make sure that we are able to reduce the number of these fire incidents. Of course, we still have a challenge in terms of the way these shacks are built, because most of them, they are closer to each other. So even if they are using these heating devices I mentioned, but you still have a problem whereby if one of these shacks catches fire, the fire can easily spread because of the distance. So we try and educate them about the importance of them, living a distance in between, so that the fire doesn't spread quickly, like we have witnessed last night in Kwa Mai Mai. Because if those shacks were built, there was enough distance, you find out that that fire cannot easily spread. And also, if there's that distance, the other services, for instance, if there's the medical service, the ambulances, if they are bringing a patient, taking out a patient from that area, they're able to move around quickly and much more effectively. So those are some of the programs we're doing as the fire service to make sure that we educate our residents about the importance of looking after all these heating.
And very lastly, I hope we'll be able to hear you because the line doesn't sound so great on your end. Talk to us about what one should not do in the incident that a fire breaks out or a candle drops and in a matter of seconds, the entire room is now on fire.
Yes, what we discourage our residents to do is to use a cold drink bottle or a beer bottle as a candle holder, because when the candle gets heated, it will fall and then it will catch a curtain or something which you can burn. And also heating devices like heaters. It doesn't matter what kind of a heater you're using at home. We must not leave heaters unattended. So the issue of, say, leaving a heater in a room and maybe doing other things like washing and any other thing is dangerous, because that room can catch a fire while you are still doing other things. Make sure that young kids also are not left unattended around, heating devices. It's very important for our residents out there to visit, I will say, fire stations around them, or areas like, for instance, if it's in the city of Johannesburg, we've got Be Safe centers or educational centers where we educate our residents about the safe use of these, heating devices. How do they get rid of us? They can call our central reservation number, which is 011-758-5050. We are able to come to where they are and be able to train them about life and fire safety educational programs. And also, if they want to visit our stations, they are able to visit the centers where we are, and we are able to educate about them about these programs. So these centers operate from Monday to Friday, and then also over the weekend we are able to come to where we can. It can be under a tree, it can be in a beer hall, it can be in a church, anywhere where there are people. We are able to come there and make sure that our residents are trained about this, life and fire safety program, because I said earlier that these programs are specifically designed for young kids who are still going to the nursery schools, are designed for young adults or young people who are maybe at high school. We also have got programs which are designed for communities, which you call community emergency response teams, which we are designed for our community members to be able to deal with emergencies before us as emergency services arrives to come and deal with that situation. In the process, we're able to save lives, we are able to save properties, and also, most importantly, making sure that our residents are safer during this winter season.
Thank you very much. Let's leave it there for now. Some sound advice there coming from the spokesperson of the Johannesburg Emergency Services, Robert Mulaudzi, saying that in terms of life and